Incredible strength for Dominik Mysterio to not being tonight. What could be? And now Dominik with a...
So we're here with WWE superstars Rhea Ripley, Dominik Mysterio. Welcome to Perth.
Thank you.
Now, tell me, 10 years ago, you were performing at the Coburn Youth Centre. Mm-hmm. It's a long time ago that you were in Perth and a big difference to what you're doing now.
Yeah, it's a massive change. It's wild to think that was 10 years ago, to be completely honest. It's been a wild journey though, and I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that we get to have Elimination Chamber here and I get to wrestle in front of everyone here in Australia again, so I'm super stoked.
There was no pathway in this country for so long. There was no chance of being spotted. NXT didn't really exist at the time. What made you get into the industry and think that this was even more than just a pipe dream?
Knowing that there wasn't really any Australians in the WWE, it was a goal to get there. But I remember at my tryout, my coach legit sat us all down at the end of the tryout and he was like, so what's everyone's goal here in wrestling? And legit everyone at the tryout was just like, I want to go to WWE. I want to be a WWE superstar. And at the end of it, he's like, I don't want to crush anyone's dreams, but it's probably not going to happen. So obviously, like, I had that in the back of my mind, but I'm a very stubborn individual. And why are you nodding?
I'm not. Please continue.
Wow. Yeah, I'm stubborn. And once I find something I love, I really hone into it and I try and perfect it. And I'm very determined. I'm very driven when it comes to that sort of stuff. So once WWE had looked at some Australians, like Emma made it in, Buddy Murphy made it in, they came back to Australia, they came to Melbourne, and they held a tryout, and thankfully I got my name thrown in.
Left in Natalia. Raw power from the champion.
She was 17 and not allowed to participate. What were you, 8 when you got?
Yeah, it's not fair.
How old were you when you?
I am, let's just say I'm an 18-year veteran in this business. I started in 05.
So the storyline at the time was you and who was your real father, as my memory.
Yeah, between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero on the custody battle for myself. I'm just blessed, man. I'm very blessed to be in this position that I'm in. I'm having a lot of fun, and it's, yeah, no complaints here, you know? I'm in Australia with mommy. Like I've never been here before, so like the fact that I get to travel the world and do all these crazy, exciting things is definitely a lot of fun.
Flash knee. Dominik, wow, Michinoku's away in NXT with that. And now Dominik with a frog splash.
Now, I'm going to reel some names off to you at the moment from a famous female wrestling perspective. When I was growing up, it was Elizabeth, into Sunny, into Sable, into Trish Stratus, into Tori Wilson, all blonde, all eye candy. Uh-huh. You started probably with that sort of an image, and now you are this goth person with tattoos.
Mommy.
And mommy. And like, how did you make the call that what had been successful in the past wasn't for you and you were going to try and do something different?
I think it's all about being yourself. For me, when I first came in for the first Mae Young Classic, I had the long blonde hair. I smiled way too much, way too bubbly. It wasn't me. The person that you see today is the person that I was back then, but I was trying so hard to be someone else because of, obviously, the people that I watched growing up. I thought that's what they wanted, so that's what I gave them. So once I decided not to care what people thought about me, I was like, I'm gonna be myself. Cut my hair short, and once I did that and I started wearing the long pants with the chains and the studs, changed my persona, came out and I was just mean mugging everyone, beating everyone up. This is my brutality, it's not even a joke, it's just what I did. That's when my career really started rocking and rolling. And it's wild to think that a little girl from Adelaide, South Australia has changed lots of people's lives. Even if it's something small, like letting a woman feel comfortable cutting her hair short when a man says that a woman's hair should be long because it's more beautiful that way. No, screw that. You live your life the way you want. And that's what I want everyone to know and live by.
You certainly live by that, don't you? You say screw
Ooh,
everyone.
look at this
Look
hair.
at my hair.
He's got a mullet.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a great mullet.
amazing.
Lots of blokes have long hair in the WWE, but that's just a genuine mullet.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't know. I guess the idea kind of came about from watching, of course, the late great Eddie Guerrero. I approached my deadbeat dad about it a couple years back, and I told him, I was like, hey, what would you think if I started growing out a mullet? He's like, I think it'd be pretty cool. He goes, if you can pull it off. I looked at him. I said, I could pull this off better than any other. But yeah, I mean, it was the awkward stages, like the middle stages, where it was kind of like
Where
weird.
I'm at?
Yeah, a little bit.
Where I'm at.
But once it gets flowy, I mean, yeah, I'm very proud of this mullet. Actually, Undertaker complimented my mullet, so that's how I know it's a good mullet. Yeah.
So when you were coming through and having to make key decisions about your career, like you had to make a call on do I wear a mask, don't I wear a mask?
Well, I originally I wanted to wear a mask. I wanted to do the whole lucha traditional thing, but it all came so fast, especially with my debut match with Seth, and then everything going. And plus, I'm way too good looking.
There it is.
Go back to the Royal Rumble. So you're in the ring for an hour and 2 minutes on live TV. So for people who may not be aware, 30 entrants in the Royal Rumble, 90-second intervals. They come in over the top rope. You get eliminated, feet touch the floor. The spot was that you have to hang from the top rope for the final moments.
Very last thing. Yep.
You've been in there for an hour and 2 minutes. You're hanging for 12 seconds, both hands on the rope. If you lose your strength and touch the floor, you've ruined the entire night.
Yep.
And then you have to pull yourself up with your feet over the top of your head to flip someone over the top. It's an extraordinary show of arm strength, core stability, all that sort of stuff. Like, how prepared do you have to be for that from an endurance perspective, from a core stability, from just overall strength to be able to do that?
Man, I guess you just have to stay ready. I'm in the gym every single day, but when it came to that part in the Royal Rumble, I was nervous. Obviously, like I'd been in there for an hour and 2 minutes. It was a long time. My hands were sweaty. Everything was sweaty. I couldn't even wipe it on anything. My gear was wet. So I really had to just like hope that I didn't fall, especially with lifting my legs up and flipping Liv Morgan off the apron. It was adrenaline, I want to say. Thank goodness for adrenaline because it definitely helped me through that part. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just always trying to stay prepared, but obviously anything could happen, and thank goodness I ended up winning.
1992, WWF at the time, WWE now, goes to Wembley Stadium and Davey Boy Smith walks out to wrestle Bret Hart and the joint goes bananas. Like, do you think it's going to be that type of reception at Optus Stadium when you walk out there?
I want to say, yeah. To know that I'm going to be home, and this is the first time that I've been able to compete here for WWE, I think it's going to be a very good reaction. I'm excited.
It's just going to be crazy. I know my first WrestleMania in Dallas, the experience was crazy, and then a couple months later, we were in San Diego, and that's my hometown, and I always said, the reception in San Diego was just, it felt the same as it was in Mania. So I can't even imagine for her how it's gonna feel when she like comes home to like a reception like that. It's gonna be crazy.
The AFL is our football code, and it has scheduled a game of football between our two local teams. Biggest sort of teams you can have, your version of the showdown in South Australia between West Coast and Fremantle on the same night as the Elimination Chamber. Harley Reid, our number one draft pick, will be playing for the first time for West Coast. What's your thoughts on West Coast Fremantle playing at the same time as you're in the Elimination Chamber and Harley Reid is being exposed? It feels like football is taking you on.
Who's this kid? What's his name?
Harley Reid.
Harley Reid? Who'd he ever beat? Not AJ Styles.
Nope.
I beat AJ Styles.
Yes, he did.
What, was he the number what pick?
Number one pick.
Oh, that's unfortunate. See, I didn't even get picked because I was already there. See, that's crazy. This kid, can this kid even read? What's his name?
Harley Reid.
Harry Reid? Whatever. At the same time as the Elimination Chamber? Well, it's not going to matter because if Mommy's on the show, nobody's going to be reading Harley Reid.
They're not going to watch him play footy.
Man,
They're going to be
I
watching
I bet you he doesn't even have a mullet like mine. I bet you he doesn't even have a mullet.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know who this kid is.
Neither do I.
So-
Doesn't matter. Like I said, who do you ever beat?
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you in the Elimination Chamber. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so glad to see you in Australia. So glad to see you in Perth. We look forward to having you back in February.
Thanks, mate.